From 2004 on, the one Pixar sequel I and Pixar fans have requested is Incredibles 2. Instead, in 2011, Pixar released their worst movie to date, Cars 2. And I'm like, why not Incredibles 2? Then in 2013, Monsters University was released, which is technically a prequel and it's heartwarming, but still no Incredibles 2. Then in 2016, Pixar still prolonged Incredibles 2 with Finding Dory, which thankfully turned out for the better, but still no Incredibles 2. Then in 2017, Pixar released the unrequested but decent Cars 3, and I'm just like, Pixar, I am patient, but just freaking release Incredibles 2 already. And at last, 14 years of build-up, finally, here we are. Thank you ever so much, Pixar. I've marked Incredibles 2's release date on my calendar. I've even updated my Incredibles logo in preparation for this review. Showtime, Incredibles 2, directed once again by Brad Bird, screenwriter and director of the first Incredibles, and is the 20th Pixar feature-length movie overall, and also the 14-year prolonged sequel to one of my personal favourite Pixar movies, period, The Incredibles. Well, it could be worse. I guess the Disney direct-to-video sequels were released even longer than that after their predecessors. Heck, Return to Neverland was released 49 years after the original. So Incredibles 2 tells the story showing the resolution of the Behold the Underminer cliffhanger, which I was praying an Incredibles 2 would open with the Incredibles versus the Underminer, and that's exactly how it opens. Although the Incredibles take the blame for the destruction to the city after their fight with the Underminer. But they're in luck as superhero fan Winston Dever plans to return superheroes to society and end the prejudice against superheroes, and he picks Elastigirl for the job. So Bob has the task of staying home to look after Violet Dash and Jack while Helen is on her mission to promote superheroes, although she must confront the greatest threat that the Incredibles have ever faced, the Screenslaver. Ever since the Underminer cliffhanger, I wrote my own personal Incredibles fanfiction about the Incredibles fighting the Underminer for the opening of a Incredibles sequel. The entire video game Rise of the Underminer was literally a prologue, the opening of Incredibles 2. Aren't you Incredibles fans ever so lucky in the US that you got to see the resolution of the Underminer cliffhanger a month prior to us UK Incredibles fans? Yep, you all in the US think you had to wait 14 years for this movie. We had to wait 14 years and a freaking extra month for Incredibles 2. So my review, I didn't have a choice but to postpone it until July. But after all the anticipation, Incredibles 2 is more than worth the 14-year wait and totally worth being my second most anticipated movie of 2018. It was totally wicked. My reaction was exactly identical to the kid outside the Incredibles house after their final battle with Syndrome. Incredibles 2 is more than an incredible sequel. It's freaking-nificent. I'm in the minority, but I disagree with the critics who are calling this movie underwhelming in comparison to its predecessor. I say Incredibles 2 is superior to the first. Let's delve immediately into my positives. Man, there's plenty I have to praise about this movie, so I shall also do a spoiler talk next, as well as my updated Pixar ranking. There shall thankfully be 0 spoilers in this review, as this is the non-spoiler one. The characters from the first movie that felt sidelined, they get the character arcs they deserve. The first movie was Bob's story. This movie is far more Helen's story. So I guess Incredibles 3 will be Violet, Dash, and Jack's story. Helen steals the entire movie. Her super stretch powers have become the most badass superpower to have ever, and even Violet, thankfully, gets more of a storyline in this movie. She's no longer the shy teenager that she was in the first film. You know, that cliffhanger where she goes, where she plans a date with Tony to a movie. Well, that storyline is continued here, and there's a little plot twist to it. So you feel sorry for Violet, and even Jack was left behind in the first movie and didn't reveal his powers until literally the final battle. But in this movie, Jack, he's literally a member of the Incredibles team. They're officially the Fantastic Five with Jack. This baby, he's made of steel. And he has one awesome fight scene with a raccoon. Me and my mum are in agreement. That is one of the best moments in the entire movie. You know how in the teaser trailer for the first Incredibles, when Mr. Incredible is struggling to equip his belts, but that wasn't in the movie, that was false advertising. Thankfully, Jack utilizing his powers is very much prominent throughout this movie. Mr. Incredible is more likable and far less selfish in this movie, being the stay-at-home father that he is, helping Violet with her boyfriend issues, and helping Dash complete his maths homework, to just, keeping Jack safe from harm. He has everything on his plate in this movie, and hooray, there's more Frozone in this movie. Now that's what I'm talking about. And Edna Mode returns. She just gets 2 scenes, but her 2 moments when she's designing the suit for Jack are ridiculously satisfying. Yes, I've returned, darling. And the Decker brother and sister, Winston and Evelyn Decker, the sister Elastigirl, in returning superheroes to modern society. I absolutely love them. I was underwhelmed in the first movie that superheroes were never legalized again, but finally they're sorting out this problem. Finally, they're doing something about it, which is awesome. And my favorite new character in this movie of a new superhero team which joins Elastigirl on her mission is Void, voiced by the terrific Sophia Bush. Sophia Bush seems super optimistic and positive and friendly in her interviews for this movie, and her voice acting is the best in the entire movie. Void is an underrated character. She deserves more mentions. Yeah, she's literally an Elastigirl fangirl. As for the villain of this movie, the Screenslaver, I'm speechless by how good this villain truly is. I am in the huge minority, but I like Screenslaver better than Syndrome. I'll go as far as saying that Screenslaver is the most magnificent of all the Pixar antagonists. Screenslaver has the most heart-wrenching backstory of any Pixar villain that I've ever seen. You kind of to an extent sympathise with this villain. Screenslaver's extremely intimidating that this villain makes Syndrome look like a let-down, whiny fanboy, and Screenslaver can hypnotically force others to do the Screenslaver's bidding. Supers are no longer in control. I am. The plot twist, the reveal of the Screenslaver, which I won't spoil in this review, that's for the spoiler talk, but oh boy, it worked flawlessly for this plot. This movie has plenty of hardcore action sequences alongside The Lion King, the original Incredibles, and How to Train Your Dragon 2 as some of the greatest action ever put into a animated flick. For example, the opening fight with the Incredibles versus the Underminer. That is the most fucking badass opening of 2018. Favourite opening of 2018 for sure. The heart-racing and epic train sequence where Elastigirl rescues the train, as well as an assassination attempt involving a helicopter. One throwdown especially where Elastigirl fights Screenslaver, and Elastigirl felt entirely vulnerable in that sequence. And the final battle on the boat. An animated superhero movie has superior action to live action superhero movies. Man, do the voice actors do such a superb job. It's wonderful to hear Holly Hunter, Craig T. Nelson, Samuel L. Jackson, and Brad Bird all reprise their roles as Helen, Bob, Lucius, and Edna. The replacement voice actors for Violet and Dash, they sounded exactly like the original Violet and Dash. Seriously, we never felt the 2-hour running time with this movie. This movie has the pacing of a rocket. As for negatives, there's none. Why would I have any negatives? To those who complain about this movie, seriously, you complain that we have 2 Cars sequels before an Incredibles sequel, and when we finally do receive Incredibles 2, you complain. Make up your minds. This is a sequel that we requested, and it's totally incredible. So Incredibles 2 is a astonishing sequel and an astonishing Pixar movie that surpasses the original Incredibles for me personally. And it's also my favourite superhero movie of 2018. I liked it better than Avengers Infinity War and even Black Panther. I certainly liked it better than that shitty Deadpool 2. Thankfully, this turned out the opposite of Deadpool 2, and it's my favourite animated movie of 2018, period. Sorry, Isle of Dogs. Incredibles 2. This is tied with Ocean's 8 as my favourite movie of 2018 in general. I give Incredibles 2 5 stars out of 5. Best movie ever. Before we conclude today's review, I wanted to give a super special shout out to Sean Peeves, Incredibles fanboy. He is the #1 Incredibles fan on YouTube. So if you're an Incredibles fan, how come you're not subscribed to him this moment? So yeah, this movie's the way forward for Pixar sequels as a whole, and I'm sure Brad Bird is planning a script for Incredibles 3 as we speak, and I'm sure it won't take him an extra 14 years. If Toy Story can be a trilogy, if Cars can be a trilogy, so can The Incredibles. I have some more requests for Pixar sequels: Monsters Inc. 2, Brave 2, and Inside Out 2. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what do you think of Incredibles 2, and which do you like better, the first Incredibles or Incredibles 2? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google Plus and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time when I do my Incredibles 2 spoiler talk. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.